a radical Islamic regime with nuclear weapons.
That can't happen.
There could be evil that is not threatening because it doesn't have the powers of mass murder. But when you couple a radical Islamic regime that says death to America with the weapons of mass death, then you have a much, much bigger problem.
A squared, B squared, C squared. Radical Islamic terrorists, weapons of mass destruction, equals a modern-day Holocaust?
It's up to us to prevent it.
All right, that was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on this program last night talking about the threat posed by a nuclear Iran. Joining us now with the reaction, author of Besiege, retired Brigadier General Tony Tata, former spokesperson for the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Fox News contributor Rick Grenell. Rick, I think it's pretty clear, but he stood on the stage for so long as a voice in the wilderness. Now he has a partner. What changes now?
All of the allies that we have in the region are desperate to have U.S. leadership. So when Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu get together and they lay out a plan for pushing back and isolating Iran, there's a lot of cheers from the Middle East leaders. We have seen not just terror cells from the Iranians, but literally a strategy for Iran to place competing military forces in places like Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon. They are not going to stop. They want it in Turkey. And what the Middle East and Arab leaders are now standing up and seeing is that the United States is saying, we are going to once again push back the Iranians and isolate them. There are a lot of cheers coming up from the Middle East on that.
Yeah, and let me play for you a moment about this new coalition, General, where I ask him, are the Saudis, the Egyptians, or the Jordanians joining forces with Israel? Let me play this cut for you.
I'm reading the tea leaves, and what I'm hearing from you is that there is an alliance that perhaps is emerging that maybe nobody ever anticipated before, that goes way beyond a one or two state solution, and that which would fit into the not only against Iran but also the Palestinian issues.
I'm trying to throw a very cunning journalist off track. So.
Is that what?
But look,
I'm looking for hope.
I think there's a lot of hope. I think there's hope first in their resolve to resist these terrorists, these brutes, and second in the understanding that we could forge new relationships that we never had before.
General, did you pick up what I picked up during that press conference, this emerging alliance, something much bigger than people or even have conceived of before?
I think so, Sean, and I think your conversation with the Prime Minister contributed to that whole discussion to further it along. That's how important I think that was. What he's really talking about and what you're talking about is stopping Iranian hegemony in that region. You got to remember, they're supporting Hamas, they're supporting Hezbollah, the Sunni and Shia Arabic members of the transnational terrorist group that is trying to wipe Israel off the face of the map. So they want to get rid of Iranian hegemony. They see Iran in Iraq halfway up, all the way up to Mosul. That's not to fight ISIS. That's to create more breathing room.
Could we take out those sites? Let's say if all that alliance comes together, the Brits also join in, and I'm short on time. General, we'll start with you. Can we take out those nuclear sites without boots on the ground?
We could. It's better to have boots on the ground. Some of our secret folks on the ground with lasers that can do that. But yes, absolutely, we could.
And you agree with that, Rick?
Look, I think that we need to have boots on the ground because you get timely intelligence. What we've seen inside Syria
but not a lot of boots,
is that it
not
just doesn't. No, enough for intelligence. We need timely intelligence, and that's all we need.
All right, guys, good to see you both. Appreciate it. That's an important discussion. When we come back, we have this straight ahead on Hannity.
We're becoming a drug-infested nation. Drugs are becoming cheaper than candy bars. And we're not going to let it happen any longer.
The president taking measures to crack down on drugs pouring into the country. We'll get reaction tonight from Lou Dobbs. That and more straight ahead.
Nation. Drugs are becoming cheaper than candy bars. And we're not going to let it happen any longer. We've undertaken the most substantial border security measures in a generation to keep our nation and our tax dollars safe. and are now in the process of beginning to build a promised wall on the southern border. We've ordered a crackdown on sanctuary cities that refuse to comply with federal law and that harbor criminal aliens, and we've ordered an end to the policy of catch and release on the border. No more release. No matter who you are, release. We've begun a nationwide effort to remove criminal aliens, gang members, drug dealers, and others who pose a threat to public safety. We are saving American lives every single day.
All right, that was President Trump yesterday explaining how he is keeping his promise when it comes to illegal immigration and that crisis. Here was reaction from the Fox Business Network. Our sister network is our friend Lou Dobbs. How are you? You know, I'm reading all these stories, and it's funny because the media, this false story that came out today, they're sending in the National Guard, rounding up,
The largest wire service pushing this kind of nonsense, knocked down by the Department of Defense, the White House, and everyone else. Not a source in it, and the Associated Press is pushing pure nonsense. And as you know, the worst thing about it is AP feeds every news outlet in the country, and now you look at any website, you look at
everywhere.
It is everywhere, and there is no.
You don't pull that back.
No.
They're not going to. It's sort of like you've had bad articles written, one or two, Lou, over the years. You have a bad article written about you, and then say they get a fact wrong, you demand a retraction. It's front page for the bad story, 828, lower paragraph, hidden away, correction, if they get it to you.
But Sean, the impulse for these organizations to do this is what is so deeply troubling. This is a left-wing offensive being carried out in the left-wing media. And there's no accident. This is without a shred of a doubt, absolutely purposeful and directed at this president.
And look at the thing is, I'm watching these 30 days, reading these columns. Oh, what a disastrous 30 days. His list of accomplishments, I put them up all night. It's amazing. The wall, he's building it.
Right.
The vetting, it's getting done. Sanctuary cities, catch and release, it's all coming to an end.
Creating jobs, moving the economy ahead. And by the way, did anybody notice? Without any other, no ambiguity at all, $2.8 trillion more in our stock market as a result of his election on November 8th.
See, Lou has a lot of money in the stock market. That's why Lou's following that closely. No, I'm teasing you.
But it's also
all your years in business.
It's also a great barometer on our future and what people are expecting, and that is a real vote, without question.
So this week, the New York Times, Monday, they had to reprimand the reporter for the horrible comment about Melania. Then they quoted a fake Michael Flynn Twitter account. They had to retract that. And then they thought it would be in good taste to feature a photo of Stephen Miller's severed head on a stake.
Is that not something?
That's the New York Times alone. That's just one news organization.
The banality, the crassness, the mendacity of it all.
Ugly.
It is. I have never seen anything approaching it in mainstream media.
And I don't think it's going away. That's a sad thing. It's not going away. It won't.
There has to be a response by the Republican Party and the Republican leaders. This cannot stand because this is just not who we are, and it's certainly not what we should tolerate.
Lou, good to see you again. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Sean. Thank you.
All right, when we come back, a very important question of the day, and you've been sending us messages, the Hannity hotline. Some of them aren't so nice. We'll play that coming up next.